Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome to another Destiny video? Wait, that's not right. The last time I talked about Destiny was when I mentioned that the story is likely going to be bad, and I had claimed that Bungie was likely to not have learned their lesson from the first game and will continue to pump out strong gameplay but mediocre story content. I think I might have just been wrong about that. Over the past week, we have seen various amounts of footage ranging from the new Crucible gameplay to the new Strike, as well as story content with lots of cutscenes, and then taking that one step further and doing so much as to promise us that Destiny 2, the base game, will be bigger than the original game and all of its expansions in terms of the story alone, in terms of cutscenes, and even in terms of areas. It's a lofty promise, but maybe, just maybe, it would be worthwhile to put some faith back into Bungie just one last time. Now, I might be shooting myself in the foot, but I can't help but be excited and let my expectations run a little wild. Not crazy like I did with Destiny 1, but I can at least hope that what they're saying about Destiny 2 and what they're going to bring us is true. Because if it is, oh my god. Because Bungie has made a lot of meaningful changes to the Destiny formula over the years, and with Destiny 2 it's their chance to essentially reinvent the wheel without changing what made Destiny great in the first place. The best move Bungie has made thus far, and the topic of this video, is the fact that there is a PC version of Destiny 2, and it has been long since announced, for at least a few weeks now. But since then, they have released more information about the PC version, and that's what I'm particularly excited about, given that I am now a 100% PC gamer. Not that I hate consoles or anything, but I've come to both realize the limitations that consoles can give games like Destiny 2, of which I will talk about momentarily, but it's the freedom of PC gaming that I am most gravitated towards, the way a lot of games allow you to customize nearly every aspect of the game to your liking. Really allows me to immerse myself in it even further. And Destiny 2 on the PC is no stranger to that. So here's a really good example of why I chose to become a PC gamer over sticking with my PlayStation 4 and eventually getting the PlayStation 4 Pro. Destiny 2 will be locked to 30 frames per second no matter what console you play on. Whether it's the original Xbox, the Scorpio, or the PlayStation 4 Pro, all you're going to get is increased resolution, maybe some extra sharpness and anti-aliasing. But ultimately, you're just going to be playing on that silky, smooth, cinematic 30 FPS. Now, this wouldn't be nearly as big of a deal to me if it weren't for the fact that you really have no choice in the matter. There isn't a performance mode on the other newer consoles that allow you to get that 60 frames per second while staying at 1080p or something. It's just not there. It's just not how the consoles were designed. They weren't designed to have that much CPU overhead in order to push 60 frames per second and 4K at the same time, or even in the case of Destiny 2, 1080p, or at least according to Bungie. But say, even if a particular console like the Scorpio had the ability to push 60 frames per second and 1080p, which it probably would over the PlayStation 4 Pro and everything else, they still wouldn't due to wanting to have console parity between all console platforms. It's just a thing that Activision and Bungie does nowadays, and it's very anti-consumer in my opinion. And then you've got the PC release of Destiny 2 giving us 4K support, FOV sliders, an uncapped frame rate up to 144 frames per second, the sharpest looking version of Destiny by far, and a whole breadth of visual options. I haven't seen them, nor can I show you guys these visual options, but I have heard that it's not just a crappy port with a few options in terms of changing graphics or changing audio. It's fully fleshed out apparently, and that's a good sign. But wait, there's more. We also get a 21:9 ratio monitor support, full mouse and keyboard support, with the ability to remap any keys that we want, and in-game text chat. Destiny 2 is also being distributed through Blizzard's Battle.net service, which should allow for a decently sized player base, given that a ton of people play Heroes of the Storm, play Overwatch, and they will see Destiny 2 on there, and if they don't know anything about it, will probably be intrigued and will maybe want to try it out. I've even heard of Bungie going so far as to change the reticle placement on the screen, because if you're looking at this footage right now, the reticle is slightly below the exact middle of the screen, and that's just how it's always been with Bungie in terms of console shooters. But for PC, they're putting it smack dab in the middle of the screen. They're also retooling how recoil works with a lot of guns. They explained that recoil was tuned the way it was because it was on console, and so for PC they're going to change the way it works slightly to better fit the mouse and keyboard controls. And from early impressions from a lot of press, they are saying that Destiny has never felt so smooth and so accurate, so that is also another good sign. One area that does have me concerned for the PC version is the currently unannounced release date. Now, once they do fully announce it, a definitive date, I will comment on that, but right now it's kind of up in the air. It's to be decided, and the fact that they're just not blatantly saying, oh, it'll release on the same day as consoles, I don't know, I kind of take issue with that. Because as a content creator and a fan of Destiny, I want to get my hands on it as soon as everybody else does. Because for one, it means making content will be a little bit harder, as a lot of the topics that I'll be talking about once the PC version releases will likely already have been talked about for the console. Then again, I do plan on talking about PC-centric stuff for Destiny, so I'm sure there will be an audience for that, but still, like, when it comes to anything else, that's already going to be covered. And that kind of sucks. And when it comes to booting up the raid for the first time, really for anybody on the PC platform, I don't know, it's going to feel different because everybody already knows that people on the consoles already have beaten it and probably soloed it by that time. So it's just like, it's kind of like we're being punished for being on arguably the best platform, that seems really strange to me. Does that seem strange to you? I don't know, maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion. Maybe it will only be like a week or two later than the rest of the other platforms, which I would be okay with that to a much better degree than if it were, say, 1 or 2 or even 3 months. Oh god, please no. And there's one more little irk for PC owners of Destiny 2 as well, and that would be the fact that Destiny 1 power possessions and Eververse-related items and currency will not transfer over to Destiny 2. Now, this is pretty understandable, but what about characters' appearances? Well, those will definitely port over to Destiny 2, except for the fact that you can't port over your character from either console to PC. So again, it's kind of like a little slap in the face, but at the same time, if it means we get the uncapped frame rate, the FOV sliders, if it means we get the good port, then you know, I'm okay with that, because I can probably pretty easily replicate my character's look, but it does stand out as at least something that Bungie has had to sacrifice in order to make this PC port of Destiny 2 even possible. So take that as you will. Not a huge deal breaker for me or anything. There is one last thing, though, and that is the PlayStation 4 version of Destiny 2, again, gets exclusive content for a year. This happened with Destiny 1. I believe they got the Hawk Moon and a multiplayer map for a whole year that the Xbox didn't get until a year later. I think maybe even longer. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while. But that said, yeah, that's really, really annoying. And it is anti-consumer, and it will remain anti-consumer. There's really no way to spin it as a positive unless you're a PlayStation fanboy and you're like, yeah, more content for us, suck at PC nerds. But, I mean, you're not a very smart person if that's the way you're going to take it, but I can deal with that. Just make sure the port itself is good and polished and it runs well. It definitely needs to run well. I have an i5 3.2 gigahertz processor, 60 gigs of RAM, and a 1060 GTX 3 gigabyte version. So if I can run 60 frames per second at least on high settings, I will be pretty darn satisfied with the optimization if that is the case. We'll just have to wait and see, though. Going forward, on top of my usual game reviews, including the Destiny 2 review coming, as well as the previews and whatnot of the closed and open beta that is coming in the summer, I do plan on covering anything and everything PC related to Destiny 2, because that's obviously my main platform of choice, and the only platform I plan on playing on. So whenever something new that's PC related comes out for Destiny 2, you can bet your sweet behind I'll have something to say about it. Speaking of saying something, let me know what you think in the comments down below about the PC version of Destiny 2, about what I talked about in this video, including all the details and everything that we know so far as of May 23rd. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, slap that like button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss anything and everything PC related about Destiny 2. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.